Hey, what's up? This is Laidback Luke, DJ and producer, Kung Fu athlete, and dedicated dad. Back here with another tutorial, a producer tutorial, a much needed tutorial. It is all about EQs today.
I'm the party starter. Do you feel the flow?
But first off, a shout out to the comments from last week's vlog, the tour manager vlog. A very candid and funny vlog. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. Shout out to Sam D on the #2 comment, and shout out to Replay Records for the #1 comment from last week. I saw a lot of positive comments come by and so happy. There's such good vibes there. Good vibes in this vlog as well. We're gonna get super technical here. Make sure to check out my producer ABC vlog first in the description below, just to make sure you won't get confused watching this vlog. Okay, so I'm excited to dive into this with you. EQ, what is it exactly? Equalization is manipulating the volume in a certain frequency, and these frequencies are very important in music. For the DJs under us, what an EQ actually does is very similar to the strip you have on your controller or your DJ mixer, where the one knob is the low end of the frequencies, the other knob is all the mid frequencies, and the top knob are the high frequencies. In the computer, this works the same for the EQ3. Here's your low end, mid, and high frequencies. But what we mostly use in production is the parametric EQ. It's the stock Ableton EQ8, and it has 8 bands for you to manipulate your sound. So we're in the project of my new single with Mark Bale, Party Starter, shameless plug right here. It's out right now, link in bio and everything. But I'm currently here to show you where the bass sits in all the frequencies and the high ends and the mids. So let's get this track going. Okay, so over here on the left side is where all the bass frequencies sit. Right now there's no bass in the track, now the bass is back. Just putting this in a loop here, and so on the right side of the EQ, that's where all the high frequencies are. So taking all of them out right now.
Kinda sounds like someone's muffling right now.
And right here in the middle are all the mid frequencies. This is good to know for EQing where all the frequencies sit. Over here there's a chart. Shout out to musicianonamission.com for putting this chart up. Over here you can see exactly where sub-bass frequencies sit, bass frequencies, low mids, mids, upper mids, and highs. And all of the frequency range, those numbers on the left, those numbers you can find here. So this is exactly where you can focus on, say, cutting the sub bass out of your track. Around 60 hertz, you can just punch it in like this, 60 hertz. Now all the sub bass is out of your track. So in a parametric EQ, we have a couple of settings that you might want to know of. So over here on the top, these are low cut EQs. This is a very steep cut. This is a more of a subtle type of cut. So when you go through your frequencies, everything that's over on this side will get stripped out, and we call this a high pass filter because it's the high frequencies that are passed through right here. Down here you have the same type of EQs, but these are for cutting all the high frequencies out. So these are the low pass type of EQs. You could say it the other way around, and it's a bit confusing and it's a bit technical. So it's either high cut, so you're cutting all the high ends out, or low pass, because you're passing all the low frequencies in there. Pretty much the same thing. Oh boy, I have to interrupt myself here. After this, I will be calling the filters and the bands EQ. I'll keep on calling them EQ, but EQ is the whole thing, and the separate bands are called filters. So my apologies if I keep on saying it wrong. After this, we'll dive back in straight away. Over here you have the shelf EQ, which is pretty similar to the cut, but over here, everything that's to the left gets amped right now. So in terms of frequency, say I'm putting this on a 500 hertz. This means everything under 500 hertz gets to be heard all over here. We could do the other way around as well. So this means everything over 500 hertz gets to be amplified right now in volume. Another setting is the notch filter, which I use a lot and which I'll show you in this vlog. With this you can make peaks, and with these peaks you can find out which frequencies you'd want to amplify or take out. And with the help of the Q here, the Q is the quality factor of the EQ, which means we can make this notch very steep and very precise, or wider. Comes in really handy. Heads up, another big giveaway from Mixmash Records. We are giving away 2 full tickets for Parookaville Festival. These tickets are for all 3 days of the festival, including the camping site where we'll host the Mixmash stage on the Thursday as well. It's the Mixmash Takeover of the Desert Valley stage, my #1 show from last year. Thursday, July 18, you can be there as well. Okay, so you gotta be fast. The competition is going until Sunday, July 7th. Make sure to enter this contest below and we'll dive straight back into this tutorial where I'll start explaining some fancy terminology. Okay, so a lot of fancy producers talk about subtractive EQ, additive EQ. Subtractive EQing basically just means cutting out the frequencies or lowering the volume on the frequencies, whereas additive EQing means boosting certain frequencies. So in previous vlogs and previous demo vlogs, I've been talking about making space for elements, properly mixing certain elements with each other. I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, so in this instance, we're going to dive into my project again and have a look at the kick and the bass line. So I've soloed them out, kick right here, and the bass line. Now I know this kick drum comes straight out of a track and it sounds really good. It actually doesn't need to have much EQ. But if you see here, this is the EQ I used in the track actually. So what you might want to focus on the kick drum, let's just solo that kick drum out right here, is just to take out of a bit of the sub frequencies. 30 Hertz is always very safe. And now you could actually find the threshold for when the kick starts to sound thin. So over here it has no low end, so it's not really a kick drum anymore. It's just like a punchy click. Over here it sounds really nice. So this is still a little bit in that sub bass region right here, but it sounds nice over here. Now I added a bit of high end in there as well, just to give that little attack on the kick a little bit more punch in the mix. But I think I mixed that right here. But I think I EQ'd this in while listening to the whole track just to get that the attack of the kick drum in there. So but this is safe right here. Let's listen to the bass line. So a lot of sub going on. Over here as well, you can be safe and just roll off everything that's under 30 Hertz. But over here, you can hear where the sub frequencies are. This will do really nice in a club. So now when you know the kick drum doesn't really sit in here, you can actually give this a little bit of boost. So I'm just gonna have the kick drum in here as well, just to properly balance the two out. So over here you see this in the project. I did a little bit of cutting right here, which actually you could listen to by really over exaggerating those frequencies. So let me see, this was at 211 kilohertz. 211 kilohertz. Let's hear what's going on right now. That's right here. So that's where the mud sits in the bass line. So wanted to take that out a little bit. And pretty much as easy as that, like really trying to hear what's going on in the kick drum, having that little chart in the back of your mind, balancing out the EQs, filling the EQ gaps with each other and making them fit like this. Okay, so before I tell you how to EQ your mid frequencies, say your leads and your percussion, new music alert first. We just dropped a brand new Mixmash Deep release by Tom Budin. Tom always delivers the quality, so make sure to check it out in the link below. And we'll get back into this tutorial explaining you exactly how to EQ your mid frequencies. We're gonna have a listen at the leads and the claps and everything that's mid, and we're gonna try and piece it together like a little puzzle piece like this. Okay, so this is how the mids sound right now. Sounds pretty solid, but actually within the bleep you could roll off a lot of the sub frequencies because it doesn't need to exist in the mid. So you could possibly roll it off again and see up until what point you can roll it off until it sounds like really thin. So around here is that threshold. Hear that? You can actually see it here in the waveform as well, where you need that cutoff. So the general rule in a lot of mid elements is actually that they don't need any low end. They don't need any sub low. They don't need any low end. So you can just go ahead and filter that out like this. Same goes for the clap here and the percussion. So this is actually a stem I got from Mark Bill's team, and they did an amazing job on EQing this. So you can already see that it doesn't have any low end. So you could possibly look for frequencies in this way that are bugging or that are a little bit harsh. This could be a little bit of a problem. So what you could do is you notice it and then you take it back a little, bring up the Q a little bit to make that a little bit steeper like this. And that's it pretty much for the mid frequency. So just the general rule that you can just go ahead and take out all the low end frequencies and then again try and fit it together like a little puzzle piece. You could like bring up a notch, go over the spectrum and hear what doesn't really need to be there, and then just take it out of the mix a little bit. So for the high end frequencies, we're just gonna listen out for the hi-hats in this, and we're just gonna listen how the hi-hats sound in comparison to that high-end clap as well. So over here the clap actually doesn't have that much high end, but if you want to experiment you can just add some high end here in the clap and the percussion chain. So over there, right there, there's a lot of saturation going on, and obviously this wouldn't sound right. So then just take it down until it does sound right. Very simple. And the hi-hats as well. And you can already see it over here. Anything that's in the high-end frequency spectrum really doesn't need any low-end or sub or mid frequencies in there. You can just focus it on the high-end section of the spectrum. So obviously this is way too little. It needs to have a little bit of that grid in there. And over here as well, you could possibly give that a little notch and see what sounds nice. Or what doesn't sound nice. So what doesn't sound nice is this right here. So I'm gonna make it a little bit steeper and then just take it out a little bit. Boom! A much cleaner result. A little bit cleaner in the EQs, having everything balanced out and pieced together like that. This will always sound nicer in the overall mix of the thing. And speaking of overall mix of the track, we're gonna take a look at that right now, taking out a couple of harmful frequencies. What are harmful frequencies exactly? Okay, so on the master, we're gonna have like an extreme Q. We're gonna have a little notch EQ over here, and we're just gonna sweep over the frequencies, over the full spectrum of the track to hear which frequencies are harmful to the ears or which don't sound pleasant at all. Let's have a listen. So mind you, you could take your volume down a little bit. This sounds pretty horrible actually. Okay, so over here I'm hearing a couple of extreme frequencies. Okay, so let's take these out. So you can make the Q even bigger. Here, let's find more. Maybe in the low ends. This sounds muddy right here. Let's take that out as well. What about the rest? Let's take this out as well. Make it subtle right here. You know what? Let's add some more. Let's go ahead and this could potentially be one, not extreme, but okay. What you want to look out for though is because the ear adapts very quickly, something might sound really good on the moment, but then it is really important to keep comparing to what you did to how it sounded like in the first place. So let's have a little comparison. So we took out all of these little frequencies here. This is how it sounded before. This is how it sounded after. So this doesn't necessarily sound much cleaner. What I would do over here is I would actually put the scale less, because I do like it. A lot of these frequencies are actually called overtones, and in technical language the overtones make the timbre of a sound. So taking them out could sometimes result in a soulless mix, or a mix without any life into it. So it's a tricky thing, but now you've seen how you could clean up your mix and focus on certain extreme frequencies and fix that. What's most important though, and this is what keeps going throughout anything that you look up on the web, is the hearing. You just need to do it by ear. You gotta train your ear. And in the end, I think what's most important, that the mix down is still very much how you wanted it, how you have meant it to be, and it has your character. Most importantly, keep on using your ears. And on that positive note, I do have a little bit of disappointing news for you. Possibly, it's actually good news as well. From here on out, I'm gonna do my vlog not weekly anymore. It's gonna become a 2-weekly vlog. I'll be skipping 1 week and then the other week you'll have a vlog. This is because making this vlog requires 8 hours of my time every single week. And in those 8 hours, I could be making music, living life, focusing on side projects. I'm actually thinking about starting to make techno and releasing techno EPs under a new alias, which I'll reveal to you in the future. And although it's lesser frequencies on the vlogs, I can already tell you that today, Danik has confirmed to do an In My Mind set right here on this channel with me. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. And if you still want to see me, make sure to come on out to my shows. This week I'll be playing in Las Vegas on July 6th at Dre's, and I'll be hitting Canada very soon, in Montreal to be exact, where I'll play at New City Gas on July 13th. But make sure that if you like my vlog and if you want me to continue making vlog, leave me a thumbs up right now. And I'm excited to catch you back here in 2 weeks. Until then, L's up, rave safely, and salute.